Alrighty, folks, time for another new album review. I say new, this one actually came out March. I probably didn't get it in March, but I've had it for a while. This is Sanhedrin Heat Lightning. I say I've had it for a while. Kind of in the weeds on my new album reviews. Gotta get caught up here. It's almost, man, like 2 weeks. I gotta start putting together album of the year. I gotta start all over again, and I'm not even done yet. Woe is me. Okay, so this Sanhedrin, not to be confused with the couple of other Sanhedrins out there. These guys were formed in Brooklyn in 2015. They released a demo that year. And then in 2017, they released their debut called A Funeral for the World. And this here, Heat Lightning, is their fourth full-length album. So quite prolific, actually, for modern bands to have 4 albums in 8 years. Almost fixing to jump right into the review. Haven't even shown you. There's the back there. It's I forgot to look. This is Metal Blade. I think Shadows is on Metal Blade too, maybe. Their logos and coloring on these albums are very similar. There's that. White lightning on the purple sky. It's a better band shot than that other one. There's more glare on that one. Trio, power trio. Lyrics, guitar player, bass player, vocalist, more lyrics. There's your drummer. Credits. Erica. Man, it's a little gloomy outside, so I'm not getting as good a light as I should in here. Yeah, that's what I thought it said. Erica Stoltz on lead vocals and bass. Nathan Honor on drums, and then Jeremy Sosville on guitars and backing vocals. So if I didn't mention, I think I skipped over that part, that these guys were out of Brooklyn, New York. So the album kicks off with a track called Blind Wolf. There's actually little hints of the Seasons in the Abyss intro in this intro. Then you get this Accept, I would say, Blood of the Nations era type riff kicks in. Drummers all over the kit. He's really working it. You do get some layered vocals here, but they're layered female vocals. I think they just took Erica's vocals and layered them, kind of take the edge off the riff. But there is some good old school guitar solos in this one. Your next up is your title track. It's a very sparse tune musically. It kind of reminds me musically of I Don't Believe in Love by Queensryche. Of course, it doesn't deliver like that song, but musically, the sparseness of it, if you can kind of think of that song. There is killer drumming throughout this track, though, which is a common theme for this album. And good guitar solo, both of those things kind of save the track from its sparseness. Your next track, Above the Law, you get this is a good speedy number with a gang chorus. You get a cool bass breakdown in this one that goes into this fiery guitar solo. Then The Fight of Your Life is the next track. Kind of sounds like a heavier Pat Benatar tune a little bit, like maybe something you might find off some of her late 70s stuff, but a little creepier lyrics on this one. Sometimes Erica sounds a little bit like Pat Benatar. She doesn't have the range of Pat Benatar at all, but like she could do a killer karaoke version of some Pat Benatar tracks. I have no doubt. King of Tides is your next track. Mellow guitar and vocal only intro before the crunch hits at the 2-minute mark. You get a cool Judas Priest infused type guitar solo, kind of reminiscent of Beyond the Realms of Death, if that was played by one guitar. Franklin County Line is your next one. Very Riot Narita era-ish riff. You get some more Judas Priest sounding type soloing in the guitars. Let's Spill Some Blood is up next. Erica's conjuring up her Pat Benatar again. You get a cool 70s era metal style riff with some classic Thin Lizzy inspired soloing going on in this one. High Threshold for Pain follows that one. You're back with the Accept style riffs, except this one kind of has more of a balls to the wall era feel to it. And that continues throughout the song, even in the guitar breakdowns and the soloing. And then your final track is called When the Will Becomes the Chain. This is another mid-paced mood piece. Excellent drumming throughout the track. Really crisp riffing in this one. And you get a couple of nice Wurzel-inspired solos in this track. So I think this one, I want to give it a 7.5, but I think the drumming, which is stellar, helps push it up to a 7.75, along with the guitars. I really like his soloing. He does, like I said, I did mention some Accept and Judas Priest and Riot type riffing, but his solos are really very 70s influenced. He doesn't really sound like anybody like Blackmore or Roth or anybody like that. He doesn't sound like them, but you can tell that he's pulling from that 70s era a lot in his guitar solos. And I think those two guys, they're strong enough that they lift this up to a 7.75 out of 10. Erica's not a bad singer. I didn't want it to sound like that karaoke comment was that she's a bad singer. She's not a bad singer at all. She has a strong voice. I like a little more grit in the voice, which she doesn't have. She's got kind of a deeper register, and there's not a lot of grit there. I really think what the album suffers from, really, honestly, is the songwriting's not that strong. The album starts off pretty strong, but it has it kind of peters out towards the end. A lot of the songs are that mid-paced, moody thing later on in the album, so it kind of gets a samey feel after a while, and it kind of feels like the album's a lot longer than it really is. It feels like it's closer to like 55 minutes when it's really not even 45-minute long album. But I've heard some people say that this isn't their best effort, and some of their earlier ones are better than this one. I've heard some people say that this is their best effort, so I cannot judge. I can only go off this one because this is the only one I've heard. So I am going to stick with the 7.75 out of 10 for Sanhedrin Heat Lightning. You guys have a good one.